Hey everyone, and welcome to
Isms by Josie.
Today we're going to be continuing doing the Crochet Afghan from Annie's. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are going to continue off our second kit from Annie's. We're making this Cozy Cottage Sampler Afghan. I got this because I love the colors. This was actually brought to me by a subscriber last year. We were talking about kits and this and that, and Annie's came up, never heard of them before, and so I went on there and saw this kit and got it thinking I was going to get everything in one go, and that's not how it works. So how it works is you pick out a project on their website and they split it up into kits, and each kit, at least for this one, was about $27 and some change, and that's including tax. So for what it is, I think that it's a fun project. I'm pretty cheap, so I don't like spending that much. But this kit it's made up of 30 squares, and each booklet so far has come with 3 squares each. So I did 1 through 3 already. And then this is 13 through 15, so it's all scattered. Yeah, I had it come in. You can have it come in every month, but I had it come in twice a month. So that's pretty much almost $30 every time you get these. And then this comes with like 10 or 11 kits. So when you do the math, obviously it's a pretty penny. If you were to buy a handmade Afghan on, somewhere, they usually charge a lot of money for it. So you might be getting the same amount, at least from when I used to look. That was tons of years ago. I don't know now if it's watered down, if they only do like machine made. But a couple $100 for a handmade blanket. Back in my time a little bit was how much it really was. But again, with crafts, things have been watered down to where things are not, charged for the work that you put into it. So I get it. What I do love about this kit so far is each block has been a 1 stitch so far. And I like that because if you are a beginner, it's great. So blocks 1 through 3 was like, I don't even remember, was it like a single crochet, double crochet, whatever else it was. It was basic stitches that was in a square, so you had all that square to practice this stitch. So if you ever see it again in your crochet lifetime, you'll be good. So that's what I like about it. In the last video, we did a half double crochet stitch, by far my favorite crochet stitch. I don't know why. I'm so proud of that. But anyway, these videos now are just a supplement to the kit. If you want to do the kit, I suggest getting it, or kits, because it comes with, the first kit comes with the needles, the markers, the hooks, and the yarn. And the yarn is of high quality. It's anti-peeling. This is Premier yarn, so I don't know if you know much about it. I mean, I've always been like Red Heart, so we're not talking about nice soft yarn there, but this is nice and soft and anti-pilling, so I think that'll be great. Thereafter, you get the instructions and you get yarn, so you never have to worry about where you're going to get your yarn. Again, this is made up of 30 blocks. We're going to be here for a hot minute, so we're doing blocks 13, 14, 15. Today we're going to do 14. Alright, so again, video supplement to the instructions. I'm going to be doing new stitches at least 3 times, step by step. Thereafter, I'm going to go through the instructions in case there's anything, confusing or complicated. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, you can lower the volume on your device, and then you can click on the CC closed caption button. Alright, so we're doing 14 today. We're gonna go directly to this instruction here. And this is all beginner level so far. I can imagine it's gonna get more complicated the more blocks that we do, and I like how they plan it. So the first kit had basic stitches that are just, you know, you're gonna hit those stitches every time, I feel, or at least one of those 3 stitches every time you start a project. I'm just gonna dump my markers out because I like to have them ready to go. They don't give you this much, by the way. I only have these because I've collected from all the kits that I've done on this channel. So they did give you a decent amount, so you know, but the more the merrier. I would suggest going online or at a hobby store and buying a pack of these, because in these cases you have rows 2 through 25. Let's say that was the last one. So that's a lot of markers that you're gonna have to get, and I'm not really sure if the markers they provide covers 2 through 25. So good things to have on hand. And these are the 2 hooks that they gave me. I thought I had like every hook known to man, but I don't. But anyway, they give you a 5mm and a 5.5 millimeter. All right. So we're gonna need a I forgot what size hook. Hold on a sec. All right. So we're gonna need the larger hook, okay? And then we're gonna need I love how it doesn't say the color. It's like the color's in there somewhere. But okay, driftwood. Jeez Louise. Okay. I'm still getting used to their instructions. This is only the second kit that I've done. So they're using driftwood, and if you look in their spool of yarn, it's right here near the barcode, driftwood. Okay. What I like to do, here's a tip. You're going to have 2 ends, one end and another end, of course. The other end is the outside end. I don't like using that, but you definitely want to find it and make sure you get that out of the way. It might be hidden somewhere in here, so I'd rather just leave it alone. Sometimes they sometimes they tuck it in. So you see this here, this piece, you're gonna think that it's the inside. You can tell because it's like it's hooking in. It's not naturally going with everything. So if you pull this out, this is gonna be the other end, the outside end, and you don't want that. You want to hide this away, because I've got a better way to, the other end is the better way to use, because it'll pull right out from the middle and you don't have to worry about it rolling around. All this excess stuff you can just tuck into the band, because you don't want that flapping around everywhere, hooking onto everything. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go inside here. You can't really tell where that end is. It's impossible. Sometimes they make it very easy for you, sometimes they don't. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to grab a chunk out, and it's going to be scary because sometimes it's a big chunk. This one is a big chunk. Last video it wasn't. But the thing is, we're going to use so much of this that it'll be fine, because we're going to use this up and it's going to pull like normal. So we do this so that the spool doesn't roll around. And the other end is right here. You can just pull from here. I like to make sure this is all situated so there's no tangles. So I'm just real quick gonna throw this out on the side. And so yeah, I mean, there's machines that you can use to assist you in pulling the yarn out good, so your yarn isn't rolling around anywhere. And if you have pets, more specifically cats, because I have one that's always enjoyed the movement of rolling yarn and has to mess with it every time it's rolling around and makes it all worse. But anyway, that's why I like doing it this way. All right, so from here we are going to do a slip knot. So what you're going to want to do is take your ring, pinky, and thumb, and then you're going to take your index and middle finger, and we're just going to hold it apart like this. Then we're going to take our hook here and we're going to lie it perpendicular to the yarn. Then we're going to go down, out, and around to make a loop around our hook. We can slide it up and down the yarn like this. I want to slide it down towards the thumb because I want to make as minimal waste as possible. So where it crosses, I'm going to take my middle finger on my right hand and just hold it down where it crosses. So I can let go of my left hand. I'm going to gather up some feeder yarn and wrap it around your finger. And then I'm going to take my thumb and middle finger on my left hand and just re-pinch that end a little bit closer to the end there. You want to minimize the amount of waste of yarn. And then I'm going to take my hook and slide it closer down towards my thumb. Once I get to my thumb, I'm just going to pinch where it crosses so that I can no longer slide this up or down. Then from here, we're going to yarn over. And a yarn over is basically taking this strand of yarn here and we're going to pull it over the hook. So yarn over like that. Then I'm going to take this strand and pull it through this loop. So let's do that. Then I'm going to overhand my hook. So change the position of how you're holding your hook. Then we're going to re-pinch this end, don't lose it, and I'm going to try to pinch the very end to make the most smallest amount of waste. And I'm going to push this knot now towards my left thumb. So you want to push it towards your thumb, making that knot tighter and tighter. Keep pulling until you cannot pull any longer. And then what we're going to do is take your left thumb and middle finger and pull out that excess piece just a little bit because you can make that knot a little bit more snug. You're going to feel it. It'll move just the smallest bit. All right, you don't have to pull it too tightly because we're just trying to make it snug. So grab the knot and we're going to pull it towards the hook, and you want to leave yourself some room so that we can get into our first stitches. So that's basically how you can do a slip knot onto your hook. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a chain stitch. So let me show you how to do that. When you have your project like this, in the beginning, you want to take your middle and thumb and just hold on to that knot. This is going to stabilize your project so that you can work with your stitches easier. And you want something to anchor down with so it doesn't move around everywhere. Alright, so from here we're going to do a chain stitch, and a chain stitch is the most basic stitch in crochet. And how you do it is just a yarn over with this feeder yarn here. So yarn over like that, and then we're going to take this strand and pull it through this loop like that. So now we have a chain stitch, and that's why it's the most basic stitch in crochet, because it was just that one movement or two and it created the stitch. So a chain stitch is made up of 3 loops. You have this loop here on one side, this loop here on the other, and if you flip it on its side, you can see there's one loop back here called the hump or the bump, whichever you want to use. Now I'm showing you these pieces of the stitch so that we can use this later when we do the next row. So this is just a mental note. Now let me show you how to do this 2 more times. We're going to do a chain stitch. You want to yarn over, so put this feeder yarn over your hook. We're going to pull this strand through the loop, and now we have 2 chains. Again, a chain is made up of 3 loops, 1 loop here, 1 loop here, turn it on its side, and you have a loop in the back right here. All right, one more time with you guys. So we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull this through the loop, and now we have our 3 chain stitches with loops on this side, and if you turn it on its side, there's one more in the back. All right, so you can either rewind from here if you need more assistance, but I'm going to continue on and make the rest of the chains required for this first row. Oops, I did one more than I had to. All right, you can always double check to see if you have the correct amount by counting from the hook back. So what I mean by that is you count the chains from the hook. You don't count the one that's on the hook. You count the chains after it. So you start from here. So just count back the number of stitches that you need for this row. Okay. And when you look at this, the better you get, the more practice you get with this, the more uniform your stitches are going to get. So as you see here, each stitch, each chain stitch is making a braid. For those that braid hair or have seen a braided hair, that's exactly what it looks like. You've got your loops on one side, a loop on the other, but the only difference is when you turn it on its side, you have that extra third loop in the back, the hump or the bump. I'm showing you this now because in this next row, we're gonna start doing, it has us doing, let's see, ooh, okay. It has us doing a special stitch that I'm going to show you. But we want to maintain the chain stitch, this braid. So the loops that I'm going to use are the back hump or bumps. And if you do this nice and loose, like if you don't have too much tension in your stitch, you should be able to stick your hook into the back bumps. But that's going to be enable you to keep the beautiful braid at the bottom, so that when we do edging, it'll be easy to find and use. All right, so from here we do the chains, and then we're going to be doing a CL, which is universal in crochet for cluster stitch. And it says we're going to do this the 4th chain from the hook. So the reason why we're doing that is because it's going to build the height of the row. So we're going to make a row in the 4th stitch from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's going to end up looking like this. I'm making a right angle here. It's going to be that thick of a row. So it's prepping you for that. All right. So let's do this cluster stitch. So what we're gonna do, and it even says, hold on a second. All right, so it even says that the in parentheses, the first 3 stitches is a double first counts as a double crochet stitch. We'll talk about that later, but let's do this cluster. So basically we're clustering double crochet stitches, and for cluster we're going to be putting 2 double crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So we're going to count 3 from the hook, 1, 2, 3. That's going to be 1 double crochet stitch. We're going to stick our hook into the 4th chain. So, or stitch. What you want to do is yarn over. We're going to do a double crochet stitch, right? So yarn over. We're going to stick our hook into the 4th chain from the hook. Again, I'm going to use the back hump for this. So now we have 3 loops onto our hook. We're going to yarn over and we're going to pull up a loop like that. So now we still have 3 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops like that. Okay. Then what we're going to do is yarn over and we're going to put our hook into that same 4th chain that we used. So put your hook back into that same stitch. We're going to yarn over. You're going to pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn. So now you have 4 loops. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 2 loops. So now you have 3. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So that's a cluster. We kind of made or mutated, if you want to say, 2 double crochet stitches in 1 stitch, and then those 3 chains are equivalent to 1 double crochet stitch because it's standing up tall. 3 chains is the height of 1 double crochet stitch. All right, so hopefully you got that, but I'm going to do this 2 more times, so the whole thing, because next we are doing a new stitch, which is the shell stitch. So for this, we're going to skip the next 2 chains. Now a shell stitch, it's all going to be in 1 stitch. What it is a cluster, a chain, and then another cluster. So let's do that. All right, so what we're going to do is yarn over, get that ready to do a double crochet stitch for the cluster, but we're going to skip 2 chains. So if you can see this closely, here's the chain we used. We're going to skip 2 chains. So here's 1, 2. We're going to stick our hook into this 3rd one right here. Then we're going to do our double crochet stitch for the beginning of our cluster. So yarn over, pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to do another double crochet stitch. You're not really finishing it, but it's called a double crochet stitch. So yarn over, put your hook back into that same loop. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So for the shell, this is still considered the shell. We're going to do a chain 1, so chain 1, and then we're going to finish off with 1 more cluster. So yarn over, and we're going to use the same stitch that we used. So into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and stick your hook back into that same loop. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through all loops. So we did a 3 chain from putting into the 4th chain from the hook. That's considered 1 double crochet. Then we did a cluster stitch, which comprises of 2 mutated double crochet stitches. And then the last thing that we just did is a shell, which is basically 2 clusters and a chain stitch. So it seems a little complicated now, but like I said, we're going to do this whole thing 2 more times with you guys. I'm assuming we're just doing shells at this point, but it's a combo of cluster. It has cluster stitches, so we're gonna learn all of it by repetition. So don't worry about that. All right. Okay, so we're gonna complete this brackets. So when you see brackets in your instructions, it's usually finish across, maybe there's an asterisk, and it means we're going to do the same, whatever's in those brackets, we're going to do the same thing over and over again until you get to the end of the row. So this is where the practice comes in. And this is why I actually love these blocks, because you're doing the same thing, there's no changes. And by the end of it, you're going to know what a cluster stitch is, a double crochet stitch is, or at least a mutated one, and a shell stitch. So from here, we're going to do the same thing we just did. You want to yarn over and set yourself up for the next shell. So we're doing shells all the way down to the end of the row. So in the brackets, it says to skip 2 stitches. So here's 1, 2. I'm going to stick my hook into the next one after that, into the back hump. Then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we have to finish the cluster, so yarn over, put your hook into that same back hump that we used, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then from here we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 1 more cluster for the shell. So yarn over into that same back hump, put in your hook, we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then we're going to yarn over, put your hook back into that same back bump, yarn over, pull up a loop, so now we have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through all the rest of the loops. So we just created another shell. So I don't know why they call it a shell. It looks like a fan, but we did 2. So let's just do 1 more. Okay. We're going to yarn over, set ourselves up for our next shell. We're going to skip 2 stitches as per brackets, as mentioned in the brackets. 1, 2. We're going to put our hook into this next one. Okay, and then we're going to start our shell, which is basically a cluster. So yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and stick our hook back into that same loop. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all loops. That was a cluster. Now we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do the other cluster for the shell. So yarn over, stick your hook back into that same loop. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and then stick your hook back into that same loop. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So we have our 3 shells. So from here, you guys, you can just rewind the video again, but I'm going to continue doing this in silence down to the last row, and then we're going to do the next row. Alright, so I stopped at the last possible shell that I can make. The last part of this row 1 tells you to skip the 2 chains, and on the third and last chain for this row, we're going to stick our hook in. We're going to do a cluster. So let's do that now. Okay, and then we're going to do a double crochet stitch. So that's what these 3 chains are supposed to be, but now we're actually going to do a double crochet stitch, and that's what these clusters are. They're mutated double crochet stitches, and I say mutated because there's 2 fused into 1. So let's show you how to do a double crochet stitch. So what we're going to do is yarn over. You're going to stick your hook into that same last chain in this row. We're going to yarn over again, and we're going to pull up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. All right, and we're doing the double crochet stitch now. So yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So if you can imagine, a double crochet stitch is just that. We did it once, pull through 2 loops. We did it twice and pulled through another 2 loops. So this is what it's looking like right now. We are going to be doing row 2. So what we're going to do is you have to turn your project. So when you're right-handed, you go down the row like we just did. All the new stitches end up on the right side, and now we have no more stitches to do on the left. So easy fix, we're going to turn it. So I'm going to take it, it's showing like this, and you can just turn it backwards like that, so that all the stitches are now on the left side, and we have all these stitches now that we can crochet. So it's a simple turn, and it'll tell you to turn. I don't think row 1 told you to turn though, which is odd. But yeah, because you just don't, there's nothing left to crochet. I'm ambidextrous, so I can I have in the past, because I wanted all the nice stitches. Like there's always a prettier side than the other. When you flip, obviously the new prettier side will be on this side. See, it's hard to tell because it's a different color yarn, but since I was ambidextrous, I would go one way, switch hands, and go back the other way without having to turn. Don't do that. We're going to, like I said, turn the project, and then we're going to start row 2. So we're going to do 3 chains, which, as we mentioned, is the height of a double crochet stitch. So we're going to do that. And then we have to do a shell in the space between the cluster and the next shell. So this would be the space between. Shell and space between next cluster and next shell. So that would be here. It's not really a space, but it is kind of a space. It's a gap. I don't know. Because when you say space, this is a space because we have a chain right there. So that is wording I don't like. You have to be very specific in crochet because they'll call it a space when there's a chain space. They'll say chain space, but this one just says space. So I guess that would be this one. It's where the shell meets the cluster. So stick your hook in there. And we have to do a shell. So as we know, a shell is made up of a cluster, a space, a chain space, and a cluster. So let's do our cluster. Oh, did we yarn over? All right. we have our 3 chains. Make sure you yarn over, stick your hook into the space between the cluster and the first shell. So right here, we're going to make our cluster. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then we're going to yarn over, stick our hook back into that same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 3 loops. We did 1 cluster. So we are making a shell, so we got to do our chain space. So chain, then we're going to do another cluster to finish the shell. Can't speak. Put your yarn over and put your hook into the space between the cluster and the first shell. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, put your hook back into that space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. So we made our shell. We have our chain 3 that's supposed to be a double crochet stitch. Then we made our first shell. And then let's see, so it's a shell and space between the next shell and space. Okay. So it looks like that we are going to be doing shells in between the spaces now. So, like I did, yarn over, you're going to put your hook into the space between the next 2 shells here. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Again, yarn over, put your hook in between the shells, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to do a chain space, then we're going to do another cluster. So yarn over, put your hook in between the 2 shells, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then we're going to yarn over, put your hook into that same space between the 2 shells, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. So now we have 2 shells in our chain 3 space, 3 chain stitches, sorry. One more time with you guys. So yarn over, we're going to put our hook in between the next set of shells, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, put your hook in between the next 2 shells, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. We did 1 cluster. Do a chain stitch, then we're going to do another cluster. Yarn over, put your hook into in between the 2 shells, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, put your hook in between the 2 shells, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So now you should have 3 shells in your 3 chain stitches. Alright, so again, these were in brackets. You're going to do shells all the way down. Let's see where, if at all, it repeats. Oh well. Okay, and then we're going to I'm trying to see, it's basically the same thing as row 1, I feel. Let's see, last shell. It's kind of different. I'll pop in before the end of this row. Alright, in silence. Alright, so I did as many as I can do. We're going to do the last bit, which is doing a double crochet stitch in the last stitch. So you're going to yarn over, and then we're going to go into our last stitch here. So we're going to count 3 stitches because we know we did the 3 stitches for the height of this row. So here's 1, 2, 3. You're going to stick your hook into that 3rd chain like that. Then we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So we have our last double crochet stitch, and this time it actually says turn, unless I missed it in the last row. I'm like reading real fast, which, you know, it's probably not that fast, but I really should slow down and read it right? Anyway, okay, so now we're going to do row 3. Let me just gather up some yarn here. See, and you see how like I'm pulling the yarn and nothing's rolling, or at least you don't hear anything rolling. It's just sitting on my desk off frame. The clump of yarn that I took out of the inside is slowly getting smaller, so it's going to be more manageable, less messy. But like I said, it is what it is. But the best thing to do is to grab from the center inside the spool, then use the one outside. Alright, so for round 3, we're going to do our chain 3. And again, this makes the height of the row, and it acts as 1 double crochet stitch. Then we're going to do a cluster in the same stitch as the beginning chain 3. So stick your hook into that first stitch there. We're going to do a cluster. At this point you should know how to do a cluster. If not, you could always rewind the video. Okay, there. And then we're going to be doing a, and this is in brackets, so we're going to do this all the way across. We're going to be doing shells again in between the spaces of the 2 shells. And then I'll pop back in before the last part. All right, I made it down the row, and the last bit is going to be how we did it in the beginning. So we are going to do a cluster into the last stitch. So we're going to count 3 stitches, 3 chains from the last row here. 1, 2, 3. We're going to stick our hook into the 3rd chain, and we're going to do our cluster. Right. And then we're going to do our double crochet stitch into the same stitch. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, because the next instructions are a bunch of rows, so I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to mark the under the braid of the last stitch we made. So here's the last stitch. I'm sticking the marker under the braid. You can look this way, see it's kind of cleared. Just putting it under the braid. Close this up. We're going to turn our project. Now this marker is going to indicate the 4th row. All right. So once we do that, what I want you to do is get the amount of markers that the instructions are telling you to do. So and in case you're wondering, what I'm doing is not picking these ones. Not all markers are made the same, of course. So I am actually just trying to get the ones that are open wider. That way when I slip under the stitch, it's easy to slip through. So I just find that an easier thing. So that's a nice tip to know. And you know what? I just kind of lost count. Let me recount this. All right. So I have my markers. Sorry, I have to always double, triple check. So the idea is separate these ones. You don't want to accidentally mix up your markers. All right. So the idea is we have to use up all of our markers. So if you have to like stop and do something somewhere else or take a phone call or whatever it is, you know it's going to be the same instructions this many times. So that's the idea of markers. So I'm going to gather up some yarn here while we take a look at the instructions. And in case you're wondering, I did use up that clump, so now it's just going to pull normal out of the spool. So that's the part I like. Now for these next rows, we are going to alternate rows 2 and 3 6 times. So I'm going to do that in silence. We're basically going to repeat the last 2 rows that we did, so you can always rewind the video and use that, or not. You can pause it, fast forward it, however you want to do it. But I'm going to be doing all these rows, and then we're going to pop in for the last row Let's see, and it's gonna that's gonna be the edging, and that's gonna be it for this block. So again, I love not starting, but I have been loving their instructions for the fact that they are making you just do one stitch over and over again, which is great practice. All right, so let's do the next rows in silence. Alright, so I completed the square. I'm leaving the markers in here because for the last round we have to do the edging. So what we have to do is switch out from our bigger hook to our smaller hook. So I'm pulling out this just so that I don't lose the stitch. You never know what could happen. Then I'm gonna stick my smaller hook into the loop, tighten it up by pulling on the feeder yarn. What I am gonna do is take another marker and we're gonna mark the last stitch we made so we know where we are beginning with our edging. I'm gonna get some yarn here. So we have to spread evenly the single crochet stitches around this side right here. This number I don't like. It's really hard to divide it, so divide it as best you can. So that's what I'm going to do, but I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet stitch. Alright, so to do a single crochet stitch, what we're going to do is you're going to stick your hook into one of the ends of the rows here, and you want to at least have 2 loops on your hook. This will just provide extra strength when you do your edging. So I slipped it into the side here. I've got 2 loops on my hook, including the one that's been on there, so 3 loops in total. We're going to yarn over. You're going to pull this through both of those loops like that. So now you have 2 loops left on your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops, and that's it. That's a single crochet stitch. Alright, so let's do another one. So we're going to, again, we're going to stick at the end of the row here, and we're going to try to grab 2 loops just to make a strong stitch. So we're going to yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop, and now you have 2 loops. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches. Let's do this one more time with you guys. So into the side of the next row, you want to put in your hook, try to get 2 loops from the side here. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those loops. So now you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So when we put through those 2 loops, we're making pretend like we're putting it in stitches, and these stitches have 2 loops on there. So in case you're wondering. But so now you know how to do a single crochet stitch. We're just going to work this all the way down, and we're going to come back after we spread out evenly the single crochet stitches required. Alright, so I did the single crochet stitches around the sides. Now we have to do the corners. So for the corner, we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. So I'm going to stick my hook in next to the first stitch of that bottom there. You can kind of see it. This is kind of off to the side. I'm going to do 3 single crochet stitches in that same stitch. Okay, so keep using that same stitch 3 times. And then once we're here, we're going to go down the bottom of this square, which has that braid we maintained from the beginning. So that's what I was talking about in the very beginning, how if we just use the back humps, we retain the braid. So in doing so, we can now use 2 loops to stick our hook in as opposed to the 1 if we didn't do it this way. So from across, we're going to do the number of stitches required, and then we're going to hit another corner and do 3 single crochet stitches, and we're just going to go around one more time down the sides here to space evenly out the single crochet stitches, another corner, 3 single crochet stitches, and then back to the very beginning, and we're going to fasten off. I'm going to show you how to fasten off, but let's first do the edging around all the sides. Alright, now we did the edging all the way around, and now we have to fasten off. So this is the marker for the last stitch we made for row 15. So how we fasten off is, and we're going to weave the ends, so we really don't need that much yarn. I'm going to cut off about 1 inch or so of the yarn. Alright, then I'm going to yarn over and then we're going to pull through the loop all the way out like that. And then we're going to tighten this up and call it a day. So now you can remove all your markers if you haven't done so already, and we have completed block 14. So that is it, you guys. I'm going to whip out the other block that we did this week, and then next time we're going to complete block 15, and then next time you see me, I'm going to be unboxing the next kit and see what other blocks they have us doing. So comment below, let me know what you think about this kit, if you have it already, or if you plan on getting it. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'll try to help you out as best I can. Here is the last block we made with the half double crochet. Okay. Alright, so we are almost there. Not really. We've got, like I said, this is made up of 30 squares, so we only have a tiny fraction done. But that's what we're here to do. We're going to complete this whole thing, and before you know it, we're going to have a full out Afghan that you can be proud of. You can make it any number of times if you save all the instructions and all the tools. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is
Isms by Josie.
Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.